Good afternoon, everyone. It's me as usual, BigFriendlyWarGamer, doing my slightly late ramble for the week. A little bit different this week because I kind of not long finished most of what I had on my desk, so I've got something a bit different on my desk today, in the form of these two very old metal Reaver Titans. And yeah, it's just basically it's a kind of a reward because I got my first load of Harlequins finished, and I'm gonna just sit here and paint them like I sit and paint week after week and everything. But that's okay because it's what I enjoy. So, other things we have on my desk. We have a couple of assassins, which are something that I'm going to be stripping for one of the guys at the club. We have the Squat Cyclops Steel, which isn't undercoated. It's this big gun tank here. We got the Lord of Battles, which isn't undercoated either. We have my Chaos Blood Bowl team, who, in fact, let me show you before I actually fill my palette up. So I finished these guys. Let's get Chaos Warrior number 1. So I finished these guys over the last few days. I actually finished them yesterday, and they're for my Chaos Blood Bowl team. There's 4 of them, Chaos Warriors. That one there, and then there's 2 more, which are more or less the same. I've got 8 Beastmen to paint, but I'm not painting them today. So, in the last week since I was doing this video, I finished them 4. I finished this guy as well. This guy is Harriman from Horus Heresy. You have to forgive me if the camera's a bit off. I've got it in a weird angle for some reason today. We also finished this Death Jester from my Harlequins. He's done and ready to go now. And this Shadow Seer for my Harlequins. As you can see, I pushed on to get my Harlequins painted. That one is a he. We got these 5 Harlequins done as well. So just a quick look at one of them. So I've got 5 of them done. So I'm very happy with my painting so far this month, because up till last Friday I hadn't actually finished anything, or Thursday. So I cracked on and I got some stuff done, and the thing I finished last night was this. So this is pretty much, I haven't really painted many vehicles because I don't really paint a lot of vehicles. This one I'm quite happy with, I'm very happy with. And I was trying to work out how to put the base on, but all I've done, I've kind of cheated and we've magnetised it. So as you can see, this tiny little magnet there. There's a little magnet on the bottom there as well, and it just goes, snap fits together and it's magnetised. And it's not foolproof. I mean, it spins round and it's wobbly and stuff, but it's usable in game. So I'm more than happy with that as it falls off its magnet, but certain way round it's got to be for it to be fully magnetised. So I'm going to put that back up there because otherwise I'll knock it, I'm sure. But it does mean that in the past, since Thursday, so it's Wednesday today, just a week, I've got 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 models finished, which I'm over the moon about, because like I said, up till last Thursday I hadn't finished a thing. So we're going to crack on and we're going to get some new models started, which is going to be these Reaver Titans. These were originally painted, but I stripped them. I've got a ultrasonic cleaner, and if you've ever wondered, you probably actually can't see, I've got 3 bottles on my desk, and they're methylated spirits. I've got another 2. They're what I use to strip models in my ultrasonic cleaner, and it literally takes, with metal models like that, it was, I think, 15 minutes with about 5 minutes of scrubbing, if that. So yeah, they come out really cool, and I would say they were about 99% clean by the time they were done. Ultrasonic cleaners are awesome for stripping paint off metal models. Plastic, you get good results as well, but not perfect. And resin, I don't want to touch it, resin with that ultrasonic cleaner. But anyway, so what we're going to do today is we are going to start painting the skeletons of the Reaver Titans. Now these models are fully glued. I was tempted to leave the weapons off and magnetise them, but these aren't gaming models now because they're quite old. So it's just literally I'm painting them for the sake of painting them. And this was going to be my reward for getting my 500 points of Harlequins done. So I sprayed them this morning. It's like 2:45 now. So yeah, let's crack on and get some painting done. So yeah, it's been a pretty good week. As normal, if you know what I do in these videos, I talk about how my week's been going and stuff. It does seem to me I've got a little bit lost in what these videos are for, to some extent, and it is still just for me to get myself motivated, to give myself a kick up the backside when I'm not feeling in the mood to paint or to do other things. And it's good to talk about things and get them off your chest. I haven't got someone locally who I can unload onto, if you know what I mean. But that's fine. It's fine. I do it through here. I do it through the medium of YouTube. I get my thoughts out of my head, and yeah. So as you will probably know if you've been watching these videos for any length of time, I quit my job six weeks ago today, I believe. Well, I decided it was time that I got back on the horse. I put my CV online, I applied for some jobs, and I actually signed up for an agency. And tomorrow I'm going in for an interview. It's not an interview as such, it's just signing paperwork and handing over documents and stuff. I've got to wait for my CRB check, which is a police record check, to come back. And as of next week I should be working again. So yeah, but basically what I'm going to start doing now is I'm not going to be throwing my money away quite as much as I was. It's time that I started to save up for what I want to do. And like I still want my own place. I still want my own house because I still live with my parents, which at 37 isn't great. But being from London, is not much I can do about it. I would love a place of my own, but I can't see it happening. So it's almost like I'm saving up for no reason. So this is me going on record now. I know I've done this before and everything, but I want to be learning to drive before the end of the year. Whether it's just get some lessons under my belt or fully dive into intensive courses or whatever, I've got to do it now, because what else is there? You know, I'm not going to be able to buy a house. That's fine. I've kind of accepted that, but it's about time that I did something. So I'm going to learn to drive, and I know that was part of my pledge of last year. I didn't really fulfill it. Although I got my provisional license last year, so that kind of meant something. Yeah. So we're going to do that. But yeah, the past week, the last couple of days, I've been preoccupied with getting the signing up for the agency and replying to emails and blah 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 and everything. And before that, what was it? No, Monday I was at the club. So yesterday I got models painted, which was good. That's why I didn't do my video yesterday, because I was wrapped up in getting the agency stuff done as well, in between painting and stuff. So that's why I'm doing it Wednesday. And depending on how or what shift I'm put on or what work I'm doing, the videos may get shifted to Sundays, but we'll see. But yeah, I played 2 games of Blood Bowl at the club on Monday. Drew one, lost one. The drawn game was me coming from behind again in the last turn of the game, which is kind of my thing at the moment. It's weird with Blood Bowl. You get massively rewarded for doing stupid plays. Which the stupid plays, when they come off, are like ridiculously funny. So I'm happy they did. Other people were a little bit in shock that I tried something so stupid, but you know. So yeah, I lost one, I won one. So I'm currently drawn 2 and 1-1. I'm doing pretty good. My Chaos team are progressing as well. I'm now back up to the normal number of players after players being... I've got 12 players now, because in my first game and second game they killed one of my beastmen. So yeah, but that's okay. I've earned enough over the 2 games to get them back now, so I'm more than happy with that. Yeah, these 2 Reaver Titans, they're and I'll keep getting sidetracked, I'll get back to where I was in a minute. I've always gone for a certain Forge World when I paint Titans and Knights and everything, and it just so happens to be the name of one of my favourite bands, which is Metallica. So the I can't remember the actual name of the Titan Legion, but it transfers into the Iron Skulls, I believe. So yeah, so my Titans are from Forge World Metallica, and the basic idea is, once these are painted, see, this one is a lot lighter than the other one, because one of them's lead and one of them's white metal. Depending on which one of these I prefer, once it's fully finished, my 40k scale Reaver Titan will be painted kind of the same way. Obviously, with the scale difference and whatever, it will be a lot more detailed, the 40k one, than the epic ones. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see once, because no Titan is painted the same. No 2 Titans are painted the same. And funny enough, speaking of Titans, I realise I'm not on camera again. Let's do that. I went to the Forge World Open Day on Sunday. Me and 3 other guys. We had an okay time. It was, the journey up there and back was fine. We got there quite early. The actual event was a bit of a letdown, but we had a laugh anyway. the new releases that we were expecting weren't there, but it is what it was. It was what it is. It is what it was. Was what it, whatever. What, you know what I mean. And so it's, but the main reason why I said I distracted from the whole Titan thing was we were expecting, or we were hoping, that a new game was going to be released there called Adeptus Titanicus, which is basically this scale of game. The Titans are slightly bigger, so the scale's a little bit different to this, but it means you get to fight really big battles on an epic scale. That's why it's called epic. So you get to use the really big war machines in 40k. But unfortunately it wasn't on release. We did get to have a good look at it, and it looks very, very cool. And we got told that it is coming out in August, so if anyone wants to buy me a present of any kind, I'm joking of course, I will be buying it myself. I may even do a building video to show you what basically this scale is called, is 5mm. I think it's 5mm, could be 8mm. So when we talk about scales in war games, everything's gone by millimeter, and your basic 28mm game, which is 40k, is 28mm game. You're basically referring to rough height of an average miniature, which is 28 millimeters. I think it's creeped a little bit 40k, so I'd say it's more bordering on 30mm now. But the scale creep in war games for you. But yeah, epic I think is either 8mm or 5mm. So that's why this Reaver Titan, when you compare it to say a Harlequin, it doesn't look very big, because in fact it's supposed to be huge. And if I ever get my Reaver Titan painted, my 40k Reaver Titan, you'll see what I mean. In fact, once they bring out Titan Legions, or Adeptus Titanicus, sorry, not Titan Legions. Titan Legions is the old form of the game. I will show you what I mean by scale. At the moment it's a bit difficult to do. I haven't got two things that are the same model in different scales. But yeah, I will have once Adeptus Titanicus comes out, because they have knights in that as well. I've got a knight for 40k, which is a paladin, and they have knight paladins in Adeptus Titanicus, so I'll show you what I mean. It does mean you get wider scale in games. So whereas in the extreme you might get a single Reaver Titan in 40k, because when you compare it, if you go by points wise, which is the scale of how you measure how powerful a model is in 40k, the more points is a more powerful model, and a larger model with more firepower and everything. Say your standard Harlequin, like one of these guys that I showed you a little while ago, is 14 points, I believe. Your Reaver Titan, which is this guy I've got in my hand, is 4,000. So you get a lot of Harlequins for the cost of a Reaver. And it's supposed to be like that because a Reaver Titan would kill most armies by itself. So yeah, it's a scale of a game. So right, so I've painted the skeleton structure of both Reaver Titans. There are other bits that I want to paint silver as well, but I'll come back to them later, because we are going to shade it. We're going to shade it and then we're going to start on the reds. Basically, my whole idea with the Titans are to paint the base colours and shade the base colours. So paint and shade, paint and shade, paint and shade. And then I'll go back and I'll highlight after. I don't normally paint like that. I normally paint one colour at a time. But for these aren't going to be my cleanest paint jobs, because they're just, at this point, they're nothing more than display models. They're just, you know, yeah, I know what I mean. They're not going to be used for gaming. They're not going to be used in armies as such. As you can see, this Reaver Titan has a little dial which isn't actually in properly, and it tells how many shields he's got left. Whether that's used, because Epic's still played. I don't know if it actually uses the shield dial or not, but anyway. I'm shaking up my non oil. Basically, I'm just going to give this an all over coat. I want to make the skeleton look quite dark, and then I'll highlight it up after. So these are quite different to the updated, say the knights for example. The skeletons are fairly smooth, whereas the knight ones are quite chunky and like mechanical looking. These are very slim and smooth looking, which is a bit strange for Imperial stuff, but these are 20-year-old models, so yeah, things have changed a fair bit in 20 years. I was 17 when I got these, I believe. Probably not 17, I was probably a bit older. I think I bought these off eBay even, because eBay was around then. Not that old that eBay wasn't around, but getting there, you know. And yeah, so this is just a, they're going to be easy, quite easy, and not mega engrossed. Because, like, for example, if I decided to start weathering the Reavers, the scale, for example, that I would normally do weathering, so you do like scratches in the armor and whatever, like you wouldn't see the scratches in the armor of these guys. It's just yeah, not at all. You wouldn't see it. So I don't think I'll be doing much in the way of weathering on these, but they're not going to be sparkling clean. That's why I'm giving them the no wash, shade, sorry. Do a little bit on the missile launcher. So yeah, I was going through, when I was going through my box of random stuff, and I found these guys. Found as many weapons from them as I could. Managed to get Apocalypse launcher, which is the big missile launcher on top. I've got 3 turbo lasers, which are in 7th edition what you wanted to give Reaver Titans in 40k, because they were awesome. And I found 1 plasma blaster, which was, plasma blaster is quite good. So yeah, so I just basically equipped them with what I could. The Apocalypse launcher on top. One of them's got 1 turbo laser, 1 plasma blaster. The other one's got double turbo lasers. So your basic kind of loadout for a Reaver Titan anyway. I mean, there was lots of weapon options back when Epic was mainstream. You could get volcano cannons, which are big Titan killing cannons. You could get Gatling cannons, which are kind of like your anti-infantry, which my 40k Reaver Titan has actually got a Gatling cannon, because it was awesome in 7th edition and it's still quite good now. When I bought my Reaver, it was 7th edition. Not that I've touched it since then, but still. I'm trying to think what the other weapon. Oh, I've got a volcano cannon on my Reaver, and I've got the Apocalypse launcher. The Apocalypse launcher is just your, it's your standard what most Reaver Titans kind of had. It's the big missile launcher on his back. It's always looked cool to have a missile launcher on your back, so I stuck with it for my Reavers. At one point I believe I had a Reaver Titan with all 3 missile launchers, but I've obviously lost one since then, so yeah. Because you know, it's like over time you lose things, but it's fine. The one problem I kind of have is the Reaver Titans were the only thing I really was looking at painting today. So, while I'm waiting on the ink to dry, I think I'm just going to move on to the red. So their shells, their carapaces, are going to be painted Mephiston red, because I love painting red. I don't paint red often enough apparently, but there you go. And this is going to be applied to their legs as well, the armour panels on the legs, some of the shoulder pads, and yeah, and some of the weapon casings. So let's get some Mephiston red onto the palette. Water it down and get a little bit more, and just a little bit more water. Okay. So again, because I don't have to be too neat with this, because I'll be tidying up later as I go, I'll be using a large brush again, and just looking to get a smooth, consistent layer of paint. So I'll go for my number 3 brush. This brush generally doesn't get used very often, but just of late I'm finding I'm using it more and more. So this was the first one. So let's start at the bottom with the legs. I'm just gonna, this will be quite a thin coat to start with, because like I said, I've watered it down, and it's so I can apply 2 coats, as I always apply 2 coats. So yeah, so next week, like I said, I should be back working. So I don't know when the next video will go up. I still want to do one, because this will be number 35, I believe. That means I haven't missed a week of videoing before. And I want to keep on doing these videos, because like I say, they're my motivation to get painting for the week, because I'm sitting here talking into a camera and I might as well paint. So I paint, because I can multitask. I can talk crap and paint. That's not a problem. I've always been able to do that. So yeah, I'm going to carry on doing these. I mean, I know my videos aren't getting any views really anymore, getting 2 or 3 on each video, but that's fine. That's not a problem. I'm not doing these so that I can get famous or anything like that, but you know. Speaking of YouTube, actually, at the Forge World Open Day, I bumped into one of the guys that kind of pushed me into doing these. His name's Brian. He runs a YouTube channel called Templars Crusade 01. Shook his hand and said thank you for his content over the years. He doesn't record anymore. His life has got in the way, as it always does. That's fine. But yeah, like I said thank you to him, because he's gone through a lot of the things that I've gone through as well. It seems like he's suffering from online bullying and stuff like that, and he got through it. So I don't suffer from online bullying. Let me state that. But the old friends and stuff, it's the same kind of thing. I didn't want to make a big thing of it, because he was there trying to enjoy his day as much as I was. So yeah, the whole YouTube celebrity thing is a bit weird, but it's only weird for like people my generation and older, because we didn't grow up with it. People like my nephew were to see one of his YouTube heroes, shall we say, he would go like most of us do with celebrities. Well, I don't. I'm not big. There's me after saying I shook the hand of the guy that I follow on YouTube. But the whole celebrity thing for me has never been like, I've met a few celebrities in the past. I've met Dennis Wise and Ruud Gullit, former football players. Nigel Havers, who's an actor, I've met him. And one or two others. Off the top of my head I can't actually remember who, but I don't go all funny about meeting celebrities and stuff. Well, fair enough, it's cool, shake your hand, and don't go wanting an autograph or sign my boobs and stuff like that. That's a bit weird, but anyway. So this is looking really, really rough, this red, but it's okay because it will get tidied up with later stages. And like I said, these are formally painted by me and stripped models, so there's still tiny little bits of paint in the corners on some pieces, but it's okay. So now we just got to paint the red on the Apocalypse launcher. But yeah, I'm really happy that Blood Bowl's picking up at the club. Running a Blood Bowl league was something I wanted to do for quite a while, and certain things come along that put me off. Back when I was a kid, me and a group of friends played Blood Bowl quite a lot, so it's kind of there in my history. I loved the game, but it was also part of my childhood that wasn't a good thing. There were incidents while playing Blood Bowl, table flips and stuff like that, which looking back at it now, it was childish things and stuff like that. Not something that I did. It was a guy who I was playing against that flipped the table. That put me off Blood Bowl quite a bit for quite a long time. But now, people at the club are kind of, as much as they love, they're getting engrossed in Blood Bowl as well, they're not going to flip a table over it and that kind of stuff. Mainly because if they flipped a table, they would probably be out of the club, but yeah. But it does remind me of the old days back with my friends and playing Blood Bowl around my mate's house and all that. Probably some 20 odd years ago. Yeah, because I was playing a dwarf team back then. I was the I can't even remember the name of the team, but I was pretty bad at the game. Like, even back then, like, winning hasn't never been the be all and end all for me. Like, having a good game was more important. Like, there was times with my friends where we were like, they would team up to make sure I was the first team that died in games and stuff like that, and I was like, whatever. But I've learned from that, and in a way it makes you a stronger person. Right, so that's the first lot of red done on that first Titan. And like I said, it looks very rough. It is very rough, but I will go back and clean it up in a minute. So what we're going to do is, with this one, we are going to paint the legs again. Let's start with the feet this time, because I didn't do the feet first last time. So yeah, so playing Blood Bowl, we had first game was my Chaos team against a Skaven team, and he scored fairly quickly. He then went and made it 2-0. I stopped him scoring another touchdown. He was like literally right near the end zone. I managed to stop him scoring. Got the ball back by pushing one of his players into the crowd, because it's a tactic that works well. The ball got thrown halfway up the pitch. I then proceeded to get the ball, throw it down the pitch and score. So I brought the game back to 2-1. And we were in the last turn, and there was literally one play I could make that would help me draw the game. Planned it out, because with Blood Bowl you're supposed to have time turns. So you're supposed to only have 3 minutes a turn. I don't play that, because when you're trying to teach people a game, having 3 minutes is too much pressure. So yeah, I don't play that. So I had time to think it through, but I'm also when I'm playing Blood Bowl, I am thinking a turn ahead already. So while the opponent's having his turn, I'm already planning my moves. Yes, they change as the opponent has his turn, or her turn. Let's not be gender specific here, because everyone can play Blood Bowl. But generally, by the time they've finished their turn, whether they've had a turnover, whether they've finished everyone and decided to end their turn, you've got an idea in your head of what you're going to do. So I can, my turns can be quite quick. And that's because I have played with 3 minute turns before, so that's still in my head. So yeah, it's a very fun game, in my opinion anyway. We've got a few more people this week that want to play, which is even better. So I'm going to be running 1 or 2 games on Monday, but I'll have my 40k army with me as well, because now they're fully painted they should really get some games. My Harlequins, This brush is starting to get on my nerves. But anyway, so with this one, I'm going to make it slightly different from the other one. Its legs is still going to be red, its feet is still going to be red, but its carapace, its top of its body, only half of it's going to be red. And the other half's going to be painted in hash stripes, so yellow and black. And people may say I'm crazy, but I know what I'm doing. So paint the red on the turbo lasers. And like I said, I'm kind of using this as a test bed for what my 40k Reaver is going to look like. I know my Reaver Titan for 40k has got totally different weapon loadout, but it's not. That's not a problem. I've actually done some magnetising over the weekend as well, as you saw with my Void Weaver, my Harlequin Void Weaver. Which magnetising can be a bit, how could you call it? It's intimidating, but it's really not. It's just making sure that you've got the right polarity on the magnets, making sure the holes are in the right place and they line up and everything. Apart from that, it's really quite easy. I use 2 different sizes of magnets. Because one perfectly fit in the hole where the round peg was supposed to go, and the other one just sits on top of where the peg was, so it gives some balance to the vehicle as well. And I'm sure at some point I'll probably snap it off and I'll have to repair it, but that's okay. It's the same with all the miniatures. Bits break, they get repaired, they get broken again, it's fine. It's all part of the hobby. Again, this one's really rough on this paint scheme. I'm also only going to paint one shoulder pad red, so the other shoulder pad is going to be painted yellow and black stripes as well. And then I'll paint the Havoc launcher. Sorry, Havoc launcher, the Apocalypse launcher. Because Havoc launcher is a little thing, the Apocalypse launcher is a huge thing. So it's weird how sometimes when you're doing these YouTube videos, you can struggle to come up with things to talk about and stuff. And obviously not been the case with that this week, because we've been going for 45 minutes already, and it feels like I could probably talk for another 45, but I won't, because I know through watching YouTube myself, watching long videos can get a bit tedious, so people generally don't. So that's why I try and keep this to an hour or less. But what I've been saying for a while now is about I want to do like community, sit at your paint station and paint. Mainly because with going back to work, my time's going to be limited again, back to my painting time, and communal painting has been a big thing the last couple of years for me. Painting in Games Workshop and stuff like that is great, and I love it. The problem is getting up there is the time consumed and all that kind of stuff. And it's time you could be sitting and painting, you know. So because it takes me about an hour to get to Uxbridge, hour to get home. That's 2 hours of painting I could have done. So what I'm going to do is see how things go with my new job and stuff. Excuse me, my painting cloth is rather in need of a wash now. Yeah, so see how things go with the new job, and we might try and organise sit session. So where people basically, it'll be like a Google Hangout or a YouTube communal session thing, and all you need to do is to get in it is have a webcam or a camera set up like I've got, and want to sit and paint and talk crap for an hour or two, just to like help push people to get painting, you know, because we've all got unpainted models. I'm pretty sure that most of you guys have as well if you're in the hobby, and like at some point it gets a little bit overwhelming. I know it has for me. Like, it's great that I've got all this finished stuff, all this painted stuff on my desk, but once I've finished this video, all of this stuff will then go into a case, and it's going to leave my desk quite empty. So I know I've got the 2 Reavers on my desk, but all of this space here is going to be full up with models afterwards. So I'm going to get a new batch ready to go, and yeah, we'll take it from there. So I think I'm going to call it there. I know it's only been about a 45-minute video today, but I can get this uploaded, and we'll see as to next week what happens. So as usual, I'm Big Friendly Wargamer, or Gareth to everyone who knows me. Thank you very much for listening and watching and stuff, and I will catch you all again soon. Goodbye.